Like to call this meeting to order for our Thursday, July the 10th, 2025 board meeting. Welcome everybody here today that's here with us in person and anybody that's in the virtual world over here today. Good to see y'all here. Our first item today on the agenda is the invocation and Pastor Lee Farmer.
Good evening, everybody. Let me offer
How you
a
doing?
prayer for you. Gracious God, thank you for the blessings of this day and the opportunity to gather and to just participate in our community. We thank you for our Board of Supervisors, and as they make decisions for our community tonight, we pray that they will do so with wisdom that you provided for them. We pray that they will make all decisions with knowledge and to be careful in their deliberations. We thank you for the opportunity, Father, to live in such a great community. For it's in your name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, next is approval of the agenda. Do we have any deletions or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, we do not need a closed meeting for tonight.
Not need a
We can
closed
remove
meeting, okay. All right. Anything else, gentlemen? If not, can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the change?
Motion to approve the agenda with change.
I got a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? All right. Now, next item would be the approval of the minutes. We have minutes from June the 5th, June the 10th, June the 12th, June the 17th, June the 18th, June the 25th. I guess we'll start with June the 5th minutes. Any changes, deletions to those minutes? If not, can I have a motion to approve? Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to second. Any other discussion on it? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? All right. June the 10th minutes. Any deletions or changes? Not, can I have a motion? Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? All right, June the 12th. Any additions or deletions? Not, can I have a motion? Approve. All right, got a motion to have a second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? June the 17th. Any changes or deletions to the joint meeting? If not, can I have a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? June the 18th. Changes or deletions to the minutes? If not, can I have a motion to approve? Move to approve. I got a motion to have second. Second. Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? All right. Next is June the 25th. Any changes or deletions? If not, can I have a motion to approve? Who do we approve? All right, I got a motion to have second.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, we got that taken care of, gentlemen. Next item would be our presentations and Mr. Steve Mathiasen. Come on up, sir.
Yeah, so again, my name's Steve Mathiasen. I'm the chair of the committee that was here earlier this year trying to gain support from you guys for the American Junior Golf Association tournament that was hosted at Indian Creek just recently. And so first, on behalf of Indian Creek, I want to thank you guys for your support. It's a real pleasure to be here to share with you how the tournament went. I need to give a shout out to Bob Bullard, first of all, because he was a tremendous resource for us in helping get things done. Teresa Rock as well, and your new golf coach at Northumberland was also a big help. I'm going to start out in an odd sort of way. I'm going to read 4 cards that are written from one of the players. As a reminder, this tournament brought players from around the country and around the world. There were 4 countries represented. There were 20 states represented. Kids came from Texas, California, Hawaii, British Columbia, China, Thailand. 96 of the best 12 to 15-year-old golfers in the country. They have an average handicap of 2. They came for a 3-day tournament. They also helped in the what's called a junior am. If you think about a pro am where you're playing with a professional golfer and you have 3 adults play with that golfer, we had Monday was a junior am day where we had 3 adults play. Typically, three adults play with one of these 12 to 15-year-olds. We also had a day before that with a qualifying round, which will not be part of the data you're looking at right now on these sheets. And I have 4 of these sheets here for anybody that might want them afterwards. But all 96 players, their responsibilities are to care of the course, be respectful to adults. Part of the respect is writing a thank you note afterwards. So I have 96 of these. I'm not going to read them all. I'm going to only read 4 of them. One's from a local young golfer here that played in the tournament. But I can't not share this with you just to give you a feel for what it is that I've seen. Thank you, tournament committee. Thank you so much for hosting this tournament. Thank you also for the junior am too. The course condition was great. I will remember this tournament forever. That's a young lady from Falls Church. Dear tournament committee, thank you so much for your work in making sure we got the best tournament experience possible. One thing that set apart this tournament from others was the friendliness and help of the staff and volunteers. The extra water, box lunches, snacks were fantastic, and the activities we got to enjoy out of the round were much fun. From Alexandria, and this is the gal that won the girls side from Irvine, California. Thank you so much for helping with the golf course and the AJGA workers. You guys did so much. We wouldn't be passing out here. As a reminder, that was the heat wave that we had to deal with. Lastly, thank you so much for setting up this tournament. It was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I am from Heathsville and I got to play on my home course. Thank you again. That's Beckham Jackman. So when you think about this tournament, we hosted it. And so you have a lot of families coming in, staying in the area. They're eating out, they're exploring the area, putting a spotlight on the Northern Neck many of them for the first time. To run the tournament, we had over 200 volunteer slots. We had over 60 volunteers. Some came from, the community, some came from members of Indian Creek. That all went incredibly well. We had 3 staff from the American Junior Golf Association here, the tournament director, her assistant, and the senior director for the whole Southeast came as well to be part of this. They also brought 9 interns. And so between all the volunteers and the AJGA staff, it just ran incredibly well. If you look at this front page, you can see what I already shared with you. There were 20 states represented. There are 4 countries represented, 96 players in the field. There were 257 visitors. The economic impact to our joint communities, Northumberland, Lancaster, $400,000. If you flip the other side, this is just the digital impact. So for people that follow online, And many people do, college coaches do, they want to see the results because this is a source of 99% of these players go on to play in college. Every professional you can think of, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Scotty Scheffler, all of them come through the AJGA. So it's possible one of these or two of these kids that were just here could be professionals at some point. But you can see the number of followers, the posts, and there were 30 Indian Creek posts with 152 looks on those 30 posts. If you look on the very bottom on the American Junior Golf Association website, where they have live scoring, there were almost 9,000 views. For the web page itself, for the tournament web page, there were a little over 7,000 views. And remarkably, for the schedule and results pages, almost 29 million views. So it's really remarkable the reach that this tournament has. It's a unique event for our community. We've never had one before. Certainly my first time being involved. And so just to share with you some other benefits that come with this. The Junior Am is, we have 18 teams, they're foursomes. And again, as I shared before, typically it's 3 adults and 1 of these young kids. My thinking when I got involved with this is how can we have this caliber golfer come to our community and not include our local golfers? So I recruited 10 golfers, high school golfers from our area to play in that Junior Am. So when somebody donated $1,500 to play, it wasn't 3 guys playing or gals playing with 1 junior. It was 1 junior, a local golfer, and 2 adults. And so the interactions and I played in it, and the interactions that I witnessed between the AJGA players and our local high school golfers was just amazing. Landon was one of them, and his brother Parker both volunteered for 3 days afterwards. They were so amazed at what they were experiencing. Your new golf coach, his son Tripp, also volunteered 3 days. So not only did we give them a chance to see and play and interact with these top-notch golfers, they came back to volunteer and take time. So one of our goals in the beginning was to raise $75,000. Some of that money goes back to Indian Creek because all the money goes to the AJGA Foundation. Some of that money goes back to Indian Creek, not to make money, but just to offset basic costs. But then we split what's left over with the American Junior Golf Association, and they take half and they use it for families that need financial assistance. We're going to take half and bring it back to the Northumberland High School golf team. Lancaster, Christchurch, North, and Middlesex, because they were the 4 high schools that actually helped me get players in and play. We'll also have some money go to the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm going to guesstimate at the moment, this is not a hard and fast number. We probably have $20,000 we're going to put back into those entities. And after talking to the athletic directors, they don't have any money to do anything. So if they get $3,000 or $4,000, that's a big windfall. And our hope is that it's not used for rounds of golf. It's for maybe bags that the team can have from year to year to year. Could be rangefinders, but I've been talking with the athletic directors and the coaches to find out what would be best to help them longer term. So it's been a big success. It's run really well. Just spoke to the golf committee in Indian Creek. They unanimously approved doing this again next year. Originally, we signed a 3-year contract, but either Indian Creek could bow out or the AJGA could bow out. Both are committed to try to do this again next year. My guess is it's going to be sometime in August. So you'll probably see me again looking for support but with a great results on this tournament. I couldn't be more happy. And it's just been remarkable how well this whole tournament was embraced by the business community, volunteers. We had people coming to, because it was free to come watch. So it was just a great event. So I'll stop there, answer any questions you guys might have.
All right, board members have any questions?
He answered mine. I was gonna see if they want to have it again next year and it is something.
All good. All right, thanks again. Appreciate your all support.
All right, thank you too. All right. Next is the presentation from Philip Munford, Boys and Girls Club.
Good evening.
evening.
I'm Philip Mumford from the Boys and Girls Club. I'm the executive director, been there now 13 years. Sorry. With me tonight is our grant writer, Mr. Mike McNamara, and Miss Jackie Ammons, our marketing and development director. She has a handout. If it's okay, we could pass that out to each of you.
Yes, please.
Miss Kennedy, or, thank you.
We're here this evening to talk to you about a grant opportunity that we have been brought before us a few weeks back from the Department of Criminal Justice Services. And some of you may remember that we have worked together in past years on grants through the DCJS. This grant has some requirements for any nonprofit who is interested in applying for it. That would require that we work through a local municipality, such as yourselves. I'm going to ask Mike, who is my grant writer, to maybe tell you a little bit about how this grant is set up and what it's supposed to be for. And then I'm going to follow up with what it is that we're asking you to partner with the Boys and Girls Club with regards to this grant. So, Mike.
The Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services is seeking localities to partner with 501c3 partners in an attempt to combat hate crimes. This is a grant that looks at the goal of the program is to minimize bias-motivated incidences by providing the organization with supports for any nonprofit organization within the locality. To be eligible for the grant, the locality would need to be the fiscal agent and apply for the grant. However, in the past, when we've worked with Northumberland County, is usually the Boys and Girls Club of the Northern Neck provides all the work, gets all the reports together, keeps track of all the financing, and all that's really required from the county is just the approval of what we're submitting. The application is due on July 30th, so we have a little time, but we're in the process of kind of putting together the final pieces. The maximum amount of the grant is $200,000 per year. It is a one-year grant, starts July 1st, 2026, and ends in June 30th, 2027. Wait, do I have the? No, I'm sorry, it begins July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. I think that might be a misprint. I don't know.
That's what
But anyway, it's a one-year grant. My guess is it's probably starting in January 1st through December 31st to go with the other.
right now.
Oh, it is right
Yeah.
now? Okay.
So, gentlemen, what we're interested in trying to do with these funds, as you know, the Boys and Girls Club here in Northumberland County, we're currently under remodel and soon to start construction, provided we get through a few more hoops and get some things taken care of that need to be done. But we saw that this was a grant that would potentially, it was coming at a great time as we're moving forward on the expansion of our facilities at 8200 Northumberland Highway. So this request, as we've written here, it says that we seek the county support and partnership in an application to the Virginia DCJS for funding to implement a comprehensive security enhancement initiative that protects youth and staff from bias-motivated violence and hate crimes, potentially. What we're currently, the Boys and Girls Club earlier this year, we reported to our national organization that we have 151 youth from Northumberland County participating in our programs. That's ages 6 to 18. However, at the end of this expansion program, when our building goes from 5,600 square feet to over 18,000 square feet, we are expecting that our annual membership will rise to close to 300 through estimates and through conversations we've had with parents and such. Currently, as you probably already know, we provide after-school meals. During the summer, we do a breakfast and lunch with snacks. We provide educational supports, transportation, mentoring, safe recreation for our youth, and for many of our youth may be considered vulnerable, as well as those that face elevated risks of victimization and community traumas from one issue or another. Recent data shows that significant increases in crime across Virginia, and due to BGCNN's inclusivity and our inclusive mission, our visibility in our programs, that Boys and Girls Clubs in general are at a heightened risk of being targeted for potential bias-based individuals or groups. Moving down a little further, we're talking about the project goal. Our goal, if we're successful, to enhance the physical security, the emergency preparedness, and threat response capacity of the BGCNN's Northumberland site to be able to protect its diverse youth populations against violence and ensuring uninterrupted, safe programming. Now, how would we do that? Well, with an approximately $200,000, we feel that if we're successful with this grant, what we would do with it, we would be preventing unauthorized access through putting up perimeter fencing around our outdoor play and fields, putting in impact-resistant doors with electronic locks to help us in securing entrance and exit of the building, fire and security alarm systems, surveillance cameras. Our current building we have surveillance cameras, but when you're expanding by 12,000 square more feet, then we're going to need to expand that system. Metal detectors, as well as exterior security parking lot lights, which we're going to need for the outside of the facility. We also look to strengthen our emergency communications and continuity by including a public address system throughout the building. We are intending to put in a facility backup generator so that the building to be able to be used even when there may be issues in our community, whether it be electrical or other, or after storms, so that we can also possibly provide services to community citizens outside of just our kids. And support inclusion and community confidence by we want to work to have stronger coordination between ourselves and the county leadership. Also, ongoing collaborations with law enforcement and emergency services, which we have a great relationship now with our sheriff and leadership with emergency services, but we'd like to strengthen that. And it says public communication to reinforce our club role as a safe, inclusive space. When we do all this and after the building's built, completed, and we've added these items, we planned our expected outcomes to have 100% of our staff certified in emergency response to new response protocols, either dealing with the equipment and items or just in general. 24/7 surveillance of major access points for our facility. Zero service disruptions during emergencies or outages, and a stronger access to deterrence and faster response to threat increased community trust and youth safety. I will also say that there is no local community match required for this grant. So it would only mean that if in the past, it did take some of our county administrator's time to review and approve, as well as the treasurer to review documents and approve within the DCJS, I guess, database system that we use together. Any questions?
Questions, gentlemen?
Yes. You have 151 youth now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, how have the parents contacted about the program?
How are they contacted?
Right.
So currently we have, through our membership database, we have a system. It's called Success 360, but it's basically through text messages. We have all of our families are into the text message we can send to, we can specify it just for teens or for everyone at Northumberland, Lancaster. We can send out messages to everyone across the Northern Neck that's in our system. But that's how we primarily communicate immediately. Other than that, it's through social media. And if there's individual calls that need to be made, we'll of course make phone calls.
Yeah, I was mentioning that. No, a large percentage of the kids in this area are raised by grandparents.
Correct.
They don't have a lot of technology. So we have to find ways to contact them. You know, a lot of times you can send information home by flyers for elementary kids.
You're right.
You know,
We still do
they
that.
have things
Yes.
home, you know, high school kids, they'll throw it in the trash can. But that's one way you can do it, you know, which would help.
Yes, sir. And I will tell you that of that 151, we see about a third of those every day during the school year. We get between 45 and 65 kids a day right now in the building that we're in. This summer, we actually closed our building down because we're tearing things apart right now so that we can build up. And so we closed, and kids are meeting us every day at Macedonia Baptist, and we're busing them to the former Washington and Lee High School, where we have programs going on up there every day this summer. We've got about a total of 170 kids, I guess, a day up there, but we've combined our Northumberland kids with Westmoreland youth. And it's working so far pretty good for the summer, though.
One other question. How do these kids get home
So get home from
there?
up there. Well, we're busing to and from Macedonia. And then from there, we do have our mini buses, which each day goes towards Reedville and towards Callio. And we have like 6 drop points in the county that parents can let us know that they want to be picked up at the Quick Stop or whatever the store is or the church is that we've got on the list. After school, it's the same way. We've been picking up the kids from the schools. And then at about 6 o'clock, a bus goes out to do drop points. Of course, parents can always pick up there. So the majority of our kids get picked up, but we do make that offer for families that maybe have transportation issues, concerns.
Thank you. That's all right.
All right, any other questions, Kevin?
You don't have an active threat plan policy?
We do have an emergency plan that does talk about how we should respond if certain threats or incidents take place. Everything from active shooter to just regular storms and issues. Yes. So just let us know if we could at your earliest convenience so that we could start working on the grant. If you're willing to partner with us again, as in the past, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure, board. Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we partner with.
Second.
Second.
All right, got a motion second. Got any other discussion now?
And this is no cost to the county,
There's zero cost to the county.
and it just takes some time from the county administrator and treasurer's office to oversee some of the paperwork.
I don't think Mr. Tedlock and his staff are having a problem with that. Doing that, so I think it's a good idea, so.
Thank you very
All right,
much. We
any other
appreciate it.
comments, gentlemen?
Oh, that's it. Great.
If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? All right, there you go, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No, thank y'all. All right, we got an update from Northumberland County Schools. Dr. Leslie?
Good evening. How are you?
doing?
Thank you for having me this evening. So we have one primary update, and that is we have been working very hard on closing out the FY school year 25 with our finances. So I do have a number of updates for what we had talked about with being overdrawn for the year. I do have Mr. Regan on the phone. He is ready to chime in. And then following that, I do have an appropriation request and then several transfer requests between the categories that exist for our finances. Is it okay if I pass it off to Mr. Regan?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Good evening, guys. Jack Regan, again, with UHY Advisors. Glad I could join. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Always good when technology works. Okay, so over the last couple of weeks, we have been trying to roll forward the fiscal year 25 results. All right. And in order to identify any surplus or deficit by category, so by instruction, operations, maintenance, et cetera, that will be needed to ensure that the categories for the year do not overexpend their budget. So what we did was we created an analysis where we looked at what has been appropriated to date for fiscal year 25. So we took the original budget, and then we took the first supplemental budget, and we tied all those numbers into board minutes. Then we got down to the work of analyzing the current year expenditures. We obtained a report that was a fiscal year report, meaning I got cash disbursements across all of the different categories from July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025, without regard to which fiscal year those were posted in. It was purely a cash basis report. All right. But as you know, there are certain expenses that are paid early in July each year that pertain to the prior budget year. Those are normally adjusted during the audit. Since we're sitting here in July and the audit occurs much later, what we did was we identified, with help from prior auditors, county staff, etc., we identified the amount of fiscal year 24 expenditures that were paid in fiscal year 25. And we reversed those from this cash basis listing because those had been charged to the prior budget year. So we've got all the reversals out, but now we have similar accruals this year where we have certain cash payments that are made in July of 2025, August 25, September 25, that are really for expenses that should be charged against the 25 budget. Those items are items like payroll. There are certain types of performance payments that the school's employees were owed, so we bunched them in to what I'll call a payroll category. So we have identified all of those payments that have been made already or are expected to be made and put them in this analysis. This next thing that we did, and that gets all of the payroll expenses. Then we focused in on vendor expenditures. The schools have been using a purchase order system to gather up all of the expected vendor payments that they expect to make over the next several months that need to be charged to fiscal year 25. And we looked at those open purchase orders. We worked with schools management to identify whether that list was complete, to make sure that what I call them, surprises, where we don't have an invoice that comes in without a purchase order. We've gone through that list 2 or 3 times with management of the schools, and believe we've got a very solid list. And then finally, Dr. Leslie alluded to the fact there were three categories. There is a federal funds category, a CARES Act category, and a special appropriations category where there were expenses charged during the fiscal year, but there was no budget that had been spread to that category because the budget existed in instruction. The budget existed in operations and maintenance and transportation, technology, etc. So what we did was we went through, got reports that showed us what those expenses were for, and we reclassified them into the appropriate category. And after we did all that analysis, we had what we believe, based on the information we have today, what the best projection is of the fiscal year 25 expenditures that are expected to be incurred charged against the budget. And compared that to the adjusted budget that I described earlier and identified differences. The good news is when I last spoke to you, we had a substantially higher number because I was unaware at that time that the report that I got on cash disbursements was really a pure cash based on the calendar and not a fiscal year cash report. So by posting some of those reversals to get those early cash payments from fiscal year 25 that need to be charged against the 24 budget out of the 25 budget, that did bring that number down substantially. The bottom line, from my standpoint, and what we have presented to the superintendent and have also briefly discussed with the county administrator, is that right now it looks like the net budget ask needs to be approximately $400,000. That is substantially less than where it was when we last spoke, again, because of incorporating those reversals. But there are two pieces to it. The instruction piece is about 500,000 over budget. The pupil transportation piece is about 100,000 over budget, but the operations and maintenance category is about 200,000 under budget. So what I believe the superintendent has prepared is a request to transfer 200,000 of that budget overage, the budget surplus in, just making sure I get it right, in operations and maintenance up to instruction. Then the net ask is going to be for 300,000 for instruction and 100,000 for pupil transportation. Been a lot of hard work has gone into these numbers. I feel pretty confident that we had a very valid approach. We got very good cooperation from schools employees and helping us come up with this analysis. The picture is not as bad as I thought it was going to be a few weeks ago because of, again, the reversals that are out there. I also believe there's a request for some reclassifications of those CARES, the expenditures that are in CARES Act, the expenditures that are in special appropriations, and the expenditures that are in federal funds in order to match them up to the appropriated budget categories. So you have several asks on that, but the bottom line is that it's not nearly as dire a situation. It's still not good, but it is not nearly as dire as we believed it was several weeks ago after we refined our analysis further.
All right. So that looks like that's a big a big decrease to me from what, 1.3 to 400.
Yep,
So it was 1.3 million, but of course they backed about 880,000 that we had talked about a few months ago that had been put onto this budget. So that has all been rectified, what had been taken off in July of 24 that had hit that 25 budget. So yes. So when the audit came out, it appears that the auditors had put that 800,000 on FY 25. But as far as our reports were concerned, that cash came off of the auditors put it on 24.
24, correct. They put it on
And on
24.
our
They did the audit
reports, the
adjustment.
cash had come off our FY 25. If that makes sense.
Yep. And what we have identified through this process is that there does seem to be a disconnect in any time there are audit adjustments being posted by the auditor to get to your audited financial statements. Those audit adjustments haven't made their way back to being posted into the county records to ensure that the county records reconcile to the audited statements. We do know that the auditor makes sure everything rolls when they get started with the audit. But one of the things that we are going to work with county and school board staff to do is to ensure that all the prior year adjustments are appropriately reflected in the schools and the county's general ledger to make sure that the county's ledger reconciles to the audited statements.
All right, board members, you have any questions?
Just want to make sure I got this straight. So if it's $400,000 and moving the money around within the categories will balance out and straighten up and close out the 2024 school budget.
2025.
2025, I'm sorry, school
In
budget.
Yes, sir.
addition to the requests to make a number of transfers between our categories so that we can zero out our negative balances and move our overages that we have in certain category lines into correct category lines so that they will be solvent.
Whole lot less money than what we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, a whole lot less money, and if this will balance it out, it looks a lot better to me than that 1.3 did.
Right, and so I think originally when the audit came out that had said we were overspent last year 1.1, that number included that 800,000, but yet that 800,000 had hit our cash for the following year as well. So putting that 800,000 where it belongs means that we're in better shape this year, let's say.
Correct. Yep.
All right. Well, that sounds a lot better to me than it did. Feel like I got a weight lifted off my shoulders.
We do as well. And as Mr. Regan stated, we've been able to meet with the county administrator and feel like we're in a really good position moving forward.
All right, gentlemen, you have any other questions? Staff have any comments or anything?
The only thing I would say is, I appreciate Dr. Leslie, Jack Regan, but I would also like to thank, county staff, Mary Dotson, and treasurer's office staff, treasurer, Gail Dungan. It was a group effort in pulling all of this
Absolutely.
information together. So I don't want to leave them out of the picture because they've done a lot of hard work behind the scenes as well. And working with the pre-auditor and getting this information together.
Absolutely.
What's your guesstimate's gonna be left in the general fund balance?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I hadn't gotten to that that part yet. With, I'm still getting some, information from the treasurer's office and trying to get some of the, finalized reconciled bank statements, from her.
Hopefully there'll be a little bit more left in there this time.
We're hopeful that it's going to be a little bit higher than what that original $3 million guesstimate was. And there's some other things as far as tied to some of these school construction funds that we've been working on, as far as some of those monies that need to go back from that particular fund into the general fund as well. So that's going to assist that general fund balance as well. So that's trying to get the whole picture on everything. So.
Plus your cigarette tax on the update. Yes, help us too.
Mhm.
Leslie, you have anything else you want to comment on?
I don't have any other comments. I didn't know if you needed me to read through the requests.
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
It is a number of them. I believe you have a copy. Okay.
Yeah, we just got these here, so.
And yes, it was finished pretty late this afternoon. As everyone said, there's been a lot of us working on it for a number of weeks. So the first request would be for a supplemental appropriation, which would be $300,000 for instruction and $100,000 for, and I didn't put the things on here, pupil transportation. I only have the numbers in front of me. And that would be a total of a request for $400,000. The second item I have would be to transfer funds. And again, I didn't put the numbers on here, from operations and maintenance to instruction in the amount of $200,000 where there is currently an overage. The third is a transfer fund request for the special appropriations account, where we would be requesting a transfer to instruction in the amount of $16,064.01. I actually have to look up the 6400 code because we don't write those down on transfers.
That again? The number again? 16, what?
Can you say that again?
What was that number again? The last number you mentioned?
$16,064.01. The second would be from special appropriations to operations and maintenance in the amount of $47,430.72. The third transfer from special appropriations would be a request to building and site improvements in the amount of $366,152. And the last would be from the special appropriations into technology for $151,195. Do you want to indicate that these transfers on the special appropriations are negative balances that we will be transferring? So those were the accounts that we had discussed several months ago that we had $500,000 in the negative. We need to move those negatives to the correct balance so that they're hitting the right accounts where that money was appropriated. Does that make sense? Okay, so the total of those transfers would be $580,842.25, which would make the balance on the special appropriations account zero rather than negative $580,000. Sorry, I dropped the paper. The next transfer that I have would be from the federal CARES account, and I would have 3 transfers. Again, these would be negative amounts that we are transferring into the appropriate account line to make this account zero and to put them where the expenditures were or should have been. The first would be to instruction in the amount of $63,820.41. The second from Fed CARES would go to administration and health in the amount of $4,094.99. The third one would be from Fed Cares to Transportation in the amount of $127,628.97 for a total transfers of $195,544.37. Again, that would then make this federal CARES account a zero balance rather than a negative $195,000. The last transfer that I have is much easier than the other. So this is from the federal funds account. It is at a negative balance of $551,727.36. We would be moving that negative amount into instruction in that same amount to zero that account. And those are all the transfer and appropriation requests that I have.
Looks like everybody's been very busy trying to get this straightened out.
Yes, sir.
All right, board members, you have any questions? So I guess, Dr. Leslie, you asking this board to approve $400,000 more money to your budget
Yes, sir. That is
in order
correct.
to balance you out.
That is correct, sir.
All right, what's pleasure of the board? Move that we approve $400,000. Got a motion? To have second?
I understand the 400,000. I'd like to have a little more time to look through the rest of it.
Certainly do that. Any other discussion?
How would this affect you moving forward? If you don't, how soon do you need it?
I'm sorry,
How soon do you need this amount?
so for the transfers, specifically into the operations and maintenance, would be urgent for us. At this point, we do have, some transmittals that are ready to be paid that we cannot pay until we're able to transfer those funds around. For our purposes, of course, the least important for us would be zeroing those balances because we have money in the other accounts where we spend. But I understand that it's an issue that we have these accounts that are holding negative balances for money that was spent and not appropriated in those areas.
Well, I think we need to make to help her out with the way she had worked. I think we should move forward as soon as possible, even if we have to have another meeting next week.
All right, any more discussion on this motion we have on the floor to approve 400,000? We have a motion on the floor. We can either withdraw this motion or we can vote on it.
We have meeting in regards to economic development next week.
The 23rd, I believe.
23rd.
That's bad. Oh, 20, yeah, we got one on the 23rd, right? Okay. Yeah, 4:30.
Would you, Mr. Long, would you consider withdrawing your motion?
Yeah, if we're gonna have one on the 23rd, we need to take care of it. Yep,
I mean, I understand what we need to do,
right.
but just getting it this afternoon and it's a lot of numbers here. And I just want to make sure I understand it better than,
All right.
Okay, yeah, I'll withdraw and bring it back up on the 23rd.
and I'm not.
All right, thank you, Mr. Long. Dr. Leslie, you can, everything will be all right till the 23rd? Or did I hear you say something about your transfers? Explain that again.
There is one line where we have a list of transmittals of bills to be paid. An amount of approximately $300,000.
Paid,
So the
paid
money-
by when?
I'm sorry,
Paid by when?
as soon as possible,
All right.
we would like to have had sent them out earlier this week. But because of the way we're set up, whereas if a single transaction puts the entire transmittal into a negative, it will not be honored, which we understand. So that one transfer for us so it's about $20,000 in one category line is holding up $300,000 of transfers on that same transmittal for payments.
All right, now, which one of your transfers?
You know, sir, I knew you were gonna ask me that question.
Yeah,
Um, It is in this operations and maintenance account, and unfortunately, I don't have that transmittal in front of me. Currently, I have the balance at $111,746. If anybody has a calculator, Mr. Tadlock, maybe. I know the amount for that is just in excess of 134,000 for that transmittal that we were trying to put through.
Ted, like, which one is that now?
That's what I was trying to, which
Alright.
one was that?
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing, yeah, the transmittal is 134 for that one. So yeah, they're at a deficit of about 100.
Unfortunately, I didn't prepare to do just that transfer, so I would have to go back to see what areas we would have to use to make that transfer.
All right, now, all of your transfers in here are actually money which you have, but they're in the wrong accounts, so you're trying to shift it back and forth around.
Yes, sir.
To
So
get it
except
in
for
the
the
proper
400,
accounts to stop the accounts from being in the red.
that's correct.
So there really is no additional money that you're asking for on them.
Right, we are only asking for the 400 and everything else is just getting
Everything else
things
is
moved
transfer.
around. So really, like I said, all of the transfers that I set for federal cares, for example, is because that is $195,000 in the red and or it might be the 500. We just need to get that read out and we do that by moving those
Yeah, you do
deductions
it
to
by
another
moving
line.
from category to category.
Correct.
All right.
Mhm.
Gentlemen, I don't see any real problem in us allowing them to move that money back and forth between the categories to balance out.
Miss-
We can wait on the 400,000 approval later till we get time to review that.
Mr.
If
Chairman,
that's all right with the board, but.
if I could just ask a quick question, by doing the transfers, does that create a negative line item in any of those other 7?
It's gonna, Mr. Reagan, if you're there, I think it's gonna create a negative in the instruction account
Yeah,
without the appropriation, Mr.
I
Reagan.
think, I think the negative already exists in the instruction account.
It doesn't yet, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna put it at about 400,000.
Right.
Yeah, it'll put us about 400. About 400,000 negative in instruction. I'm sorry, I have a lot of papers here. $448,070.58, Mr. Reagan, is that correct?
Trying to look and see where you're getting that from, but sounds
From
about
the
right.
adjusted appropriation surplus deficit.
Okay. 177.
Which is why we had originally requested to put $500,000 in that, but
Yep.
of course had 200,000 excess in another category.
Yep,
Which brought
that's
that down
correct.
to a request for 300,000 in that category.
Yep, that's
You know,
correct.
It's a lot of steps. I understand.
I almost feel like we're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Just, well, I don't like the idea of 400,000. But, I'm trying to do it. I really don't. I don't like that one bit.
Well, it's a whole lot cheaper than what it was before.
Yeah, that's right. It's cheaper than what it was, but it shouldn't have been anything else.
It's in the past then.
Any other comments, Mr. Tadlock?
No, sir, I just didn't mean to throw a wrench in that. I just didn't want to do a transfer to cause a negative in another line item.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Right, yes, and the transfers that are here are contingent on, right, that 400,000 to balance those lines back out.
Williams will be back here by the 23rd. He's not here to make a decision on this.
What are you saying, Reggie?
Mr. Williams is not here on the decision to make on making a additional appropriation. And I think he needs to be here to make a decision on that. He won't be back till we'll be able to have him on the 23rd. Gentlemen, what y'all want to do? We'll wait till the 23rd?
When is he back?
Hmm?
If he's available next week, I'm fine meeting one morning next week, we're done, but.
Yep, he'll be here. I just have a problem. I assured him that I was not gonna make any decisions on any amount of money without his presence here. And I'm gonna keep to my word on that.
Well, is he gonna be back next week?
Yep,
Well, why not?
we will have a meeting on the 23rd and then
Why we
I'll
wanna
forget
have?
what time
why
it
we
is.
wanna Have it on the 23rd and he'll be back next week.
You reach out to him, Mr. Tadlock,
Right.
first of the week to see what his availability is.
All right.
And if we can do something next week,
Right.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we can do it anytime y'all wanna do
Yeah.
it.
Do it next week if he's available.
All right, that good enough for the board?
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Leslie.
Thank you, appreciate you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, while Jack Regan and Dr. Leslie are here, we have actually been looking at the transfer with the recent adoption of the MOU between the school board and the Board of Supervisors. Dr. Leslie and I have had several conversations. We actually had a meeting this afternoon on an implementation plan, starting that process. And as of right now, the two school employees are still under the school division. And we're trying to get that transition in place once we get a director of finance on staff. The director of finance position has been advertised, so we're awaiting applications to be turned in. In the meantime, the school division does have a vacancy for the director of finance position. They, I believe, and please jump in at any time. There's a concern with that vacancy that going into the new fiscal year, placing that budget, the new budget into their system, processing purchase orders, several items that a director of finance needs to do. That function is not currently there at the school division. We did have a conversation with Mr. Regan this afternoon. I had gotten or received several information from him regarding serving as a temporary director of finance. For the first month, that cost is approximately $19,680. For the second month would be $19,680. Following that, they would start scaling back and it'd be about $13,120. That's to serve in the capacity as a temporary director of finance. Following up on that separately, UHY was proposing to look at policies and procedures. It would be a one-time cost in the amount of $18,800. The total, all of those for 3 months, and then the policies, the one-time policy and procedure is approximately $71,280. So I know that was a concern of the superintendents and, you know, trying to keep things on track. We just want to let you know that we had received that information from UHY. I know that was a conversation that the board had had previously about a temporary director of finance as well.
Gentlemen, that information is in an email to you that was
Yeah.
sent today.
We've had
If y'all had a
discussions,
chance to.
we've
look
had
through it or not.
discussions in regards to this probably about a month ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're paying all this money to get the last year's budget cleaned up. We can't go into the new year and not be prepared to handle business the way we're supposed to. Can we have that information and let's put that on the agenda for the meeting when we have a discussion on the additional finance, additional funds,
On the 23rd or
23rd
whenever.
or sooner.
Sooner.
Yeah, can we have it the 17th or the 18th next week? Instead of wait till the 23rd.
I can check with Mr. Williams.
Right, check and see.
Okay.
All right. What else was Tedlin?
That's all I had
Yeah.
as far as that is concerned. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. So.
Thank you.
Board members have any more questions on that? All right. All right. Ready to move on, gentlemen? We do. It'll be, next item is update the Virginia Department of Transportation. Todd Belaney here. Good to see you, sir.
See y'all again this month. Yeah. Just a couple updates. Y'all have them. David has sent to y'all. All our mowing's been completed for the first time. The mowing and the trash pickup, for the secondary and the primary. But as you can see, with all this rain, the grass is growing back quick. So, I'm sure we'll be back, sometime first of August to start doing it again. Doing a lot of brush cutting, clean some pipes. And got a couple nice asphalt patches down on Blunden Road. Between that and 360 and Whole Neck. Upcoming, we got some environmental approvals for replacing pipes. One on Gunyon Road and one on Lake Landing Road. And at this time, come July 1st, we started signing up snow vendors. So we're heading in snow mode already. And also, as you can see, the paving is getting done in Callio and Lotsburg. And actually it'll be from Lotsburg to Village. So they're up there paving now. They've got Callio almost finished, except for up by the light. And they're in Lotsburg now, doing that. In Lotsburg, we'll have the additional turning lane there and going through Lotsburg. Also up by the light in Callio. And then we also got Fleeton Road from Menhaden Road down to Fleeton Wharf will be paved, and also on Menhaden Road is also scheduled. And our Cape Seal and surface treatment roads have all been all been complete. Other than that, we had a busy June with storms. With quite a bit of trees down after hours. We had 17 callouts for service after hours in the month of June, with total 175 man hours. So we had a busy month. Storms hit us hard in June and had a couple accidents. We had to come out and shut the road down and do some traffic control. So had a busy June, and actually July started right back where we left off. So that's all I have. If y'all got anything?
Yeah, I have something.
Okay,
Todd. Rock 609, that's over there by the apartments in Wacomico.
Yes, sir.
Right below the apartments, people had to pull out in the road because the grass need to be cut going down that side.
Okay.
All right. That's all I have.
Mr. Brand, you have anything?
No.
Mr. Fisher? No, sir. I don't have anything either, but I want to thank you for all you've done out here. It's, you're getting the roads, potholes fixed up, stuff like that, so that's a lot.
Appreciate
And the
it.
grass cut.
Yep.
And I will be glad when the paving's over with in
Yeah, it's
Cali
gonna be a
area.
lengthy process. That's one of the biggest paving operations we've had in the county for
Yeah, you got a big
long
one
time.
there.
So. Yep. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next item is county administrator report, Mr. Tadlock.
Yes, sir. For the month of June, we had 7 new structures. Total construction cost approximately $4.3 million. Total construction cost year to date, $30.8 million, which puts us approximately $1.7 million below this time last year. Next item I have is the board has received a deed of vacation that needs to be considered by the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors for the Skiff Cove subdivision. I'm actually going to turn that over to Mr. Gregory, as he and Philip Marston have been working on that specific project.
Thank you, Mr. Tadlock. Mr. Tadlock, members of the board, the Skiff Cove people have complied with the statutory requirements for the vacation of a plat of subdivision wherein a lot has been sold. Skiff Cove was a cluster development originally when it was approved by the county some years ago. Only, I believe, one lot in that subdivision is sold, but because of that, they have to go through a statutory process to vacate that subdivision because they want to transfer that from a cluster development into a more traditional subdivision with larger lots. So Mr. Marston has reviewed the documents. I reviewed the legal instruments that are necessary for the board to approve the vacation of the subdivision. I have to commend the Skiff Cove's entity's lawyer, Mr. Armstrong, for preparing those instruments and submitting them. I really appreciate his thoroughness in doing so. The plats look good to me. I believe Mr. Marston has reviewed the plats. You do not have to have a public hearing to approve this vacation. All you need to do is consider it as it is before you. I recommend you approve it. Once you approve it and authorize Mr. Haney to execute those instruments, he can sign them. I will sign them. Then the Skiff Cove folks got to take it to the health department and get them to review the plat and have their approval. And then, of course, I think Mr. Marston has to approve the subdivision plat itself. Once those approvals are done, they can take it to the circuit court clerk for recordation. So recommend you take action to approve that tonight. Happy to answer any questions if you like. And I believe the Skiff Cove folks may be represented here this evening. If they'd like to say something, I would recommend you hear from them if you have, and they can answer their own. They can answer questions as well if you have them, I believe.
Okay. Board members have any questions? Would the representatives from Skiff Cove, you have any questions, anything from Mr. Gregory? All right, okay.
Fairly routine, checks all the boxes.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
We'll go ahead and approve it.
Yeah, I move that. we-
Motion to approve?
Yeah.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All against? All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item we have is for the carryover of the body worn camera funds that was previously requested by the sheriff's office to carry over those funds from fiscal year 25 to fiscal year 26. This was previously approved by the board on January 9th for the funds to do this. The total amount being transferred or carried over to 3102-5409 is $70,675.20.
All right, board members have any questions for Ms. Tadlock? This is money was already in there for it started with.
That's correct. These were monies in fiscal year 25 that he is requesting to be carried over to fiscal year 26.
Okay. All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Is this part of the, contingency fund as well? Is this where this money's at?
It's coming from the general fund. It wasn't I don't believe this one was a grant of any sort. This was strictly general fund monies that the board had approved back in January for the sheriff's department.
Now, gentlemen, y'all want to wait till Mr. Williams is here? All right,
So-
It depends on how soon they need this to move forward. We don't need to wait. Is it, can we afford to wait this time out? Or
So what the portion that is being carried over is the year 2 through 5 subscription fee. And that's what's making up that difference. The original request was the $93,402. So the first part of that, the upfront cost and the subscription and the video service has come off of that. So now what is remaining are the subscription fees.
so this is not anything that's in a rush. Huh? Get it done or what?
I'm not sure when the invoice is due for the actual subscription fee. Now, one thing that could be done is that you just do each subscription fee on an annual basis rather than the one-time fee. But initially, the whole grant or the whole request was for the full amount.
And I know we approved this and I voted for it and I'm all for it. But I'm looking at what is the best financially for the county to pay it all at once or to make the payments. And I guess that's my question.
Sure. And I did have that conversation with the sheriff. And I mean, it's certainly something that can be done individually. It's just now that those monies have been appropriated, they're gonna have to be carried forward each fiscal year.
I guess that's my question. I'm not against this. I know we voted on it and approved it. I just,
You get a meeting next week with Mr. Williams available.
what do you think?
We could do it then.
well, we approved the money last year and
Right.
I know I'm not trying to get out of not supporting
No.
what we approved. But I don't know. I hate to make a decision about all board members here, especially with something like this. That's something, that's my own to say.
Let's see,
He probably wouldn't say a thing in the world, but if he did, then I would feel bad about that.
well, Mr. Tyler, I'm gonna check to see if it's.
All right, let's just let's just wait till he gets back and we can have a meeting next week on this.
Fine.
All right, Mr. Tadlock.
All right, next item is a request to carry or put back in the court security monies fund of the unused court security monies from fiscal year 25. So the monies that were not used in that particular line item is in the amount of $1,222.15. And that's for fiscal year 25.
I'll move that we move that money back.
There have been times he's had to come in and ask for some money for that, hasn't he? The sheriff has had to ask for that.
That's correct. What he does is he pulls it from that court security fund line item,
Right.
which is a separate fund,
Right.
to help offset that, those costs in his budget.
All right, I got a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
I got a second. Now, any other discussion onto it? Did Ms. Tadlock answer your question,
Yeah.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? Or any other comments or any other thing? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, motion passes.
All right, in March of this year, the Board of Supervisors approved the Sheriff's Office to seek a law enforcement equipment grant. And that was for the speed trailer and the LiDAR radar. We have just gotten word that we received those funds. Now, if you remember, the total amount being requested was $37,986.93. The grant award is in the amount of $36,487. And the difference there is that the grant will not cover the subscription cost. That's not allowed in the grant. So that's why you see a difference within the amount that was being requested initially and what is approved by the grant award. So the total federal funds is $27,365, and the local match on the grant side is $9,122. But because of that subscription fee, the total local match is $10,621.74. So what we need, or there are two things that we would need. One is the approval to accept these monies. And then the second part to that is the supplemental appropriation of $37,987 to put those monies into his budget so he can, this grant is on a reimbursement basis.
So we put it in and he'll get it back.
He'll get a portion of it back.
I can't see holding it up for $1,000. It's too good of a program, too much involved.
So you're making a motion and
I'll make a motion that we go ahead with it.
second.
All right, got a motion second. Got any discussion now, gentlemen? All right, no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, Mr.
The
Tadlock.
next item is a supplemental appropriation to 3102-5414 in the amount of $36,487 and to 3102-3005 in the amount of $1,500. So a total of $37,987. And that is in reference to that grant that the board just approved. And this is the supplemental appropriation to that grant.
All right, what's your pleasure of the board?
Well, you approved the funding, so.
Approve the funding.
Yes. You
Might
made
as
the
well approve the transfer.
motion. Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? All right, Mr. Tadlock.
All right, the next item we have is the Board of Supervisors approved the Department of Emergency Services to apply for the grant through the Rescue Squad Assistance Fund for some cots. The grant was awarded in the amount of $14,000. The total cost for the cots is $35,528, which we would be, the local match would be $21,528. And we don't need a supplemental appropriation on this tonight. We'll do that at a later date. We just need the authorization to accept those funds. And that $21,528 was being considered using the EMS billing funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion to second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? All right, Mr. Tadlock.
All right, next item I have is the lease agreement between Jonathan Kinney, trustee, and the county of Northumberland. And this is the lease agreement regarding the property where the burn building is located. The 20-year lease is about ready to expire. So they are requesting, the Rappahannock Regional Training Center is requesting that the board enter into another 20-year lease for that burn building facility. Now, the lease has to be with the county and not with the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Organization, as the state will only support that when it's with the locality, not with that specific organization. One of the main differences in that lease is that the rent is being changed from $500 to $1,200, but that is being covered by the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Center.
And that's for a year.
That's per year.
All right, gentlemen.
Motion to approve. Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Next item I have is that you have a memo from the Planning Commission requesting permission from the Board of Supervisors to investigate adding open-sided gazebos to piers to the county zoning ordinance. They're just looking for our authorization to move forward with that.
So this is just to come up with any ideas, check out if it's needed or not.
And if any changes, they would hold the public hearing on the on that matter.
All right. Motion to send it to the planning commission for review. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, Mr. Tadlock.
Last item I have is there was a Virginia Code section update regarding the dogs running at large. It's a Virginia Code reference in the county code. And what we are asking is that we have authorization to advertise this for a public hearing to correct that code or update that code section at the August board meeting.
You're not changing anything regarding the actual regulation?
No, sir. It's just updating that specific code reference to the Code of Virginia.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Now, this doesn't have to go back to planning commission, does it?
No, sir.
All right.
It's not a zoning ordinance.
All right. I have no other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, motion passes. Anything else you have, Mr. Tadlock?
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right. Anybody have any committee reports? All right, move on to the next Board of Supervisor items. First would be the approval of the check register. I hope y'all had a chance to review the check register.
I move that we approve.
I got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right. Any board comments? And we'll start with Mr. Long.
Okay, What's the update on the old school? What's the update on the old school?
At Lotsburg.
Lotsburg.
We were gonna make that part of the discussion that we were gonna have on 23rd.
Okay, good. Okay, the next, EBB Bank.
Mr. Long, that was members of the board, that discussion was ongoing, if you recall, when these other items concerning the school board budget arose earlier this spring. So that discussion was sort of put on the back burner pending the resolution of the budgetary matters. So I don't know if there is further interest in that. I would recommend that the school board's use of that facility be memorialized in some sort of a lease, as I have done consistently. So we'll have to renew those discussions, I believe right now that hopefully things have settled down with school finances.
Okay.
Clarification.
Go ahead, go ahead. No, I got it. Go ahead. I have one other thing, Ms. Tadlock, the solid waste sites. I'm concerned about the cleanliness. Man, I know over in Disley, it needs to be clean. I mean, people complaining and everything, so I
Yes, sir.
like for you to check on that.
I had received a complaint last week on the site and had reached out to Waste Management on
Okay.
that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Brand?
Clarification, Mr. Long's question in regards to school board office. I thought during the joint meeting that we had a discussion and both boards voted on and approved, that the county would take over part of the school board office, put the finance director in there. We were gonna meet with, I guess, Dr. Leslie. And I thought we were gonna take over the utilities when we do that. So I think that issue of a lease or a deed should be resolved.
Well, I don't know if I was,
I
don't
think you
think-
had jumped off.
yeah, I may not have been a party to that discussion, but I'll follow up with Mr. Tadlock and get some clarification on what your marching orders are there and what the resolution was, and happy to prepare an instrument to effectuate your desires and discuss that with.
I mean, I just don't want to see
council.
you keep working on something and we kind of switch
Yeah.
gears on you.
I don't want to do that either. So we'll get some clarity on that
Yeah.
and hopefully bring something back to you sometime
Okay.
soon. I'll have to confer, of course, with legal counsel for the school division, but that can be done fairly
I
easily.
mean, that was a discussion we had.
That's what we discussed. We discussed the takeover of the building, not the takeover of it.
But to
It's
share the building.
share the building, but to take over of the expenses and all. And, that's what we decided.
For the office space.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause we need the office space over there. We were gonna look at the left side of the building.
Correct. And that's something we need to do sooner than later.
Yeah, much sooner than.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Grant?
And I think Mr. Tadlock, you said that the auditors or UHY, you've been talking with them in regards to the policy that we need to look at for the contingency fund amount we need to maintain. And it was a recommendation from an auditor that we maintain it at, I guess, 15%, and anything above that be used for capital improvement.
Yes, sir. That was with Davenport,
Okay.
the financial advisor. And we did have a draft addressing that contingency fund or the undesignated fund balance. That is something that I've spoken to them about again this year. They had presented it, I believe, last year.
Correct.
They presented it previously to the board. And no action had been taken on that, but that is something that I have asked them to bring back to the front burner and bring that back to the board.
You think we could have that on the August agenda?
I can check with them and see if they can make that meeting. Yes.
That's all I got.
All right, Mr. Fisher?
Mr. Tadlock, did we get any information from the adjoining counties on the county waste disposal permit? I know we've been busy with schools and budgets and schools and vice versa.
We had, I actually started getting some additional information, and then with the transfer of the MOU and school staff, actually, Mr. Basie has started working on picking that up for me. I know we've received some information on that. He's gotten some information related to that, and talking with the printer and Dave Zender. There's some things that we need to finalize, but I think we need to get that back to the board and possibly the 23rd of this month, if we can get that information to you all, because we're going to be tight on time frame in letting the printer know to what to insert into the tax bills. So we need to let them know as soon as possible what to do.
Did we ever come to a conclusion on whether or not we want to use a sticker or place card?
The only thing that we have been obtaining pricing on are the stickers.
I'm not in favor of the the cards. I am in favor of the stickers.
The sticker, not the
Yeah,
hang tags.
Not the hang tags.
Right.
Too much room for discrepancy. But anyway, I know you've been busy and I sympathize with both of you. But as time goes by, we'll work on it and get straight.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else. Questions have been answered over the EVB bank and all and everything. So that's all I have.
So we're gonna try to check and see if, Mr. Williams can meet on the 17th or 18th next week.
We can check. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And our meeting on the 23rd is at 5:00.
I believe that was 4:30.
4:30.
4:30.
4:30, that's right.
4:30.
All right.
When was he coming back into the country?
Oh, I don't know,
I thought he was going to be gone sometime.
but he can check to see.
Okay.
All right. The next item on the agenda would be public comments. Morgan, you be so kind.
What news is still late?
Ground signs. That's good.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. I don't have anyone on public comment sheet that has signed up. Would anyone tonight in our large crowd we have in here tonight like to speak? Do news like to speak tonight? Newspaper?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, a new law for Virginia in your paper this week.
All right, would anyone that's online tonight like to speak in the public comment period? How many people online? All right. Would anyone that's online tonight like to speak in the public comment period? Anyone? All right, I'll ask one more time. Would anyone online like to speak tonight in the public comment period? All right, I'll close the public comment period. The next item on the agenda are our public hearings, and we are past 7:00 tonight. First public hearing we have is to solicit public input on a local community development and housing needs in relation to community development block grant. All right, Tadler, we have
Mr. Davis is here.
Mr. Davis, yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Davis. Come on up, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
members of the board. So, just really by way of some background, you'll recall that about a year and a half ago, the board authorized an application to pursue some planning grant funds from the Department of Housing and Community Development and the Community Development Block Grant Program, with the idea of using that planning grant to do a county-wide housing assessment. So that effort commenced. The county was awarded that grant. And it was overseen with what we call a management team, a lot of stakeholders, county staff, some other stakeholders from the community that had an interest in housing. And the effort began. One thing that came out of the housing assessment, the input from the management team members, they identified a little over 100 dwellings throughout the county that, at least from a windshield survey, appeared to be substandard. This did not involve any kind of interior inspection or anything like that, just solely from a windshield survey. And what we do is we take that input and we plot the location of these structures on a county-wide map to see where they're at. And the idea being, if we can see if there's any potential projects where the county could seek funding to address these housing needs. And the reason is that under the Community Development Block Grant Program, under the Department of Housing and Community Development, they put a priority on their grant funding to address housing needs when the housing is clustered together, like in a neighborhood setting. And I'll use the Light Street neighborhood as an example. That was a Community Development Block Grant project. Houses were closely together in a neighborhood setting. I think years before that, the Blackberry community was another project here in Northumberland County. We've done a number of these projects across the Northern Neck and the other counties as well. But the state puts a priority on these, what they now call, they used to call them neighborhood projects, but now they call them targeted area projects. So that's what we want to see, if there's any clusters of homes in the county that might be a potential project. The state does allow something they started doing a few years ago, where you can seek funding under a different kind of application, which they call scattered site. And this is when you identify houses and they're not together, but they're scattered in different locations. So we were looking at that issue as well. During the planning grant phase, we were using the program design, the Community Development Block Grant program design that guides these applications from prior years to sort of determine what kind of potential applications the county could be looking at going forward. And it used to be, they put that used to have two pots of money. They segregated the grant funds, one in a competitive round, which funds these housing rehab kind of projects, and another pot that they were funding scattered site projects out of. So we had that in our mind as we were going through this planning grant process, that potentially, if the county wanted to pursue grant funding to rehab dwellings, it could potentially be a targeted area application and then also a scattered site application, because it's two different grant processes, two different pots of money. Well, here, about a month ago, the state released the program design for the next round of Community Development Block Grant funding. It's a little later than usual because, as you know, all federal monies across the board have been under various reviews and so forth. And then this program, being federal funds, was also under review for a while. But the state finally released the program and opened up the application process for this year. In doing so, we were informed that the program design that guides this program has been changed. And there were some other significant changes as well. But the one change is that all projects are being funded from the same grant fund. They're not separate anymore. What that means is that the county would only be able to submit one application. And you would have, the county at some point, would, if you want to pursue a grant or to address housing needs, housing rehabilitation, you would have to determine, do you want it to be a targeted area application or do you want it to be a scattered site application? If you want to pursue multiple applications, you would just have to do it in different grant years. So that's a question. Luttrell and I talked about it earlier. I think we're going to have a management team meeting to get some guidance on that, to see what makes sense for the county if you want to pursue a grant, what kind of application it should be. So that's something that you don't have to, you're not going to address tonight. That'll be before the next public hearing. So that's what the hearing, if the county does want to do an application, the process requires 2 public hearings leading up to submittal of the application. The first hearing tonight is just sort of general in nature. It's just to announce to the public that the county is considering pursuing community development block grant funding. To see if anybody has any comments about that. And just for the record, as you know, community development block grants are federal funds. It's a program approved by Congress. And there are, in order to seek and receive community development block grant funding for a project, the project has to meet one of 3 different criteria. One, it has to benefit low to moderate income persons, or it's a project that deals with the prevention or elimination of slums and blight, either physical blight or economic blight, and the third being an urgent need. Typically, these housing projects are for the benefit of low to moderate income persons, and you also will address the elimination or preventions of slum and blight in an area, if it's a targeted area. Because in those kind of projects, you're going to do a cleanup effort. You're going to address abandoned vehicles, trash on property, this kind of thing. So you're going to be getting there'll be an element of getting rid of any kind of physical blighting influence. So you certainly have the potential for a project. There's a lot of housing needs out there. The management team sort of focused on one particular targeted area that could be a potential targeted area application. And then the rest of the units pretty much are scattered throughout the county. So what we did with the management team's guidance is we took these units that were submitted and tried to narrow it down to a smaller number, getting input from the management team members. And I think right now we've got 20 dwellings that we sort of focused on. Some of those are in this targeted area, the rest of them are scattered. And what we've done, the planning district, to help sort of guide the final decision-making process, is we've gone out and met with each of these, the property owners and the people that live in each of these units, and talked to them about the potential of a project to see if there was interest in participating, if there was one. 2, to get some preliminary financial eligibility information to make sure they would qualify if a project did happen. And the three, we did a preliminary housing inspection to determine if the dwelling would meet the definition of being substandard. So we wanted to have all the information that would eventually get folded into a grant application, but it would also be used now to narrow down the list to determine which units would be part of an application if you decide to submit an application. So we would use that information to sort of prioritize the projects that got submitted as part of the application for the first year at least. So that's what the planning grant did for us. The county, the county has had experience with community development block grants, as I say. The most recent community development block grant that the county received was a business district revitalization grant for the Callio Business District. And that's been here fairly recently. And all of your prior grants were all successful and closed out successfully. So you're in good standing with DACD and would be eligible to request additional grants if you choose to do so. The application deadline for this year, it's a quick turnaround. The applications are due August 26th. So we don't have a lot of time because they did get a late start and it's sort of a condensed process to get applications in. But we did a lot of work during the planning grant phase to get ready for if and when the state finally released the program design for this year's grant. So we got a head start on things and we're in a good position to have what we need to roll into an application. But the application would be due August 26th. Tonight is the first hearing. I think you would have a second hearing at your next board meeting. At that hearing, we would be talking about specifics of the application. You know, if it's a targeted site, if it's and get in more particulars. The county is eligible for requesting under the new guidelines, requesting up to $1.25 million. So that's a little change also, but it'd be one grant for maximum of $1.25 million. It would be for housing rehabilitation. That could be a combination of, depending on the house. Some houses just need to be renovated, you know, for items that don't meet housing standards. A lot of houses, and we find it in other projects that we're currently involved in and in the past, the vast majority of the houses are gonna need just to be replaced. That means we go in, we demolish the old unit and put a new unit in its place. We call that a substantial reconstruction, not just a rehab. So most of the houses in these projects typically end up being substantial reconstructions. So that takes more money when you're demolishing and bringing a new unit in. So if most of your houses are new structures, what that means is it translates in a lesser number of houses you can fit in one application. If they were all rehabs, just written, you could do more, but depending on which houses eventually get selected, we'll just have to see with the money that's available, how many housing units could be part of that application. So that's pretty much where we're at. I guess if there's any public comment, get that on the record. We would be, if you want to go forward, you would have the second public hearing that would be particular to the application, more details. And at that meeting, in addition to the public hearing, you would authorize submission of the application. And then we also get you to approve all those federal reassurance, federal assurance forms that are all submitted as part of these applications. Get you to do all that at that meeting. And then we would submit it, in August and, go from there. Any questions?
Any questions, gentlemen?
When you go into a situation where the house has to pretty much be completely destroyed and redone, if the septic system and the well system is failing, you also replace that as well? Yeah, if it's a situation where there's a well issue, it needs to be repaired or replaced, or if there's a septic system repair or replacement, the state does give you some additional, you're eligible for some additional grant money to deal with well and septic issues, but I'll just tell you that the amount of money they allocate is not gonna cover everything, so
If you're
we have to
putting in
look at that very.
artesian wells and septic system, that can be a great expense to what the house itself would cost.
We've been working with the state health department on this, well and septic program for the last couple of years, and we've done a number of new wells and septic systems, both traditional system repairs and alternative systems. Depending on the location of the well in the region, wells right now are, I mean, if you're going 300, 400 feet, maybe you could get it for 35,000, maybe. The ones down, we've
Down
done
the
some in
county, you're gonna go
Northumberland,
700 feet.
going 600-700 feet, those are running up over 35, close to $40,000.
Anything down the county, that's what you're gonna be doing.
And what's happening, I mean, and you're aware the groundwater levels are declining and it's affecting the southern and eastern part of the region first. And people are having to go deeper for a new well. They're going 600-700 feet before they can. Up in the northern part of the region, you can still not go as deep, but it's gotten more expensive. Same thing with septic. I mean, there's a limited number of contractors and alternative systems. I mean, and as part of our project, we're paying $50,000 for an alternative system. So. There's a lot of reasons why that's the case, but the bottom line is it's just costing more to do these kind of things.
All right, any other questions, Mr. Davis? What would the board like to do?
We got to finish public comment.
Yeah, we've got to open it for public hearing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I stepped ahead. All right, have no one open the public hearing, have no one on the sign up sheet. Anyone like to speak? All right, anyone that's online tonight like to speak? Anyone online like to speak? Nobody? All right, close the public hearing. Matters for the board. What would the board like to do on this?
I like to move forward with the grant.
Yep. Like to move forward. All right, any other comments, questions on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Davis, we'll have another public hearing, sir. All right. Any other comments, gentlemen? On anything? Staff have any final comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.